We did a video a few months ago called Saving Private Ryan. It was about a scouting trip where we went in and scouted these oak islands in a new property and went really remote to get to them. And it was called Saving Private Ryan because we found an injured owl and saved it and took it out. But while we were out there, if you watched that video, we scouted two oak islands really well and really felt like those had really good kill opportunities.
We noticed right away that this point of willows that tapers down into the swamp, and that's going to be key for us to go take a look at. We know that bucks are going to be traveling that point either in and out or bedded there.
Yeah, any place those points come into it are always good spots.
So that's going to be a great first place to look for some sign coming in and out. And I can already see that island is loaded with white oaks.
Yep. We dropped the camera on one of them and we didn't come back until hunting season. So a lot of heavy rubs and stuff coming right along the edge over here, over the middle here and stuff, and ended up deciding to put the camera on that side because then we can potentially get every trail. I think from over there we weren't. On opening day, me and my friend Dave Schwabe, known as Dave Greenhorn on the Hunting Beast, went to that property. We navigated back to the island that had the camera on it. And on the way back, we started seeing all kinds of heavy buck sign. The kind you see during rut. Big rubs and matted down areas and, you know, just crazy sign. Way more than you'd expect at this time of the year. I mean, it was only September 16th.
I've never seen like sign like this early.
We're 100 yards from the parking lot and Dave's like, I'm climbing a tree.
I was like, do we need to go any further?
The only thing that scares me is I don't see fresh rubs. These are all about a week ago.
Yeah.
Even the cattails crushed about a week ago.
Yeah.
But if we start finding some bleeding
yeah,
crap, yeah. Where we parked, there's a cornfield, and it looks to me like all these deer are going up by the corn, but I know there's acorns back here. I mean, look at this. A horizontal rub there with all the branches broken. That rub. Dude, it's opening day. What do you think?
Yeah, this is weird.
There is something in here that's just tearing this up.
I mean, this is like pre-rut, like rage type stuff.
You know what it's telling me? There's some competition going in here. There's some bucks competing against each other. That's the only thing that would cause that. I mean, as far as you can see rubs in this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see but maybe 2 fresh rubs the whole time I was in Nebraska. There's literally nothing under this mud but water. I went through the surface and it's water underneath it. I am sinking. I broke these trees off to get out on. I mean, this is literally bad.
I mean, we literally...
If I was any older, I probably wouldn't be able to get out of it.
We just took one step.
Now you can kill me because I
Gave me all his money.
Where's my phone? You got my phone?
I got your phone. I think you're getting one leg out. Hey, you retained your boots.
I literally was like, wonder why there's no deer tracks, and I stepped there. Oh my God.
And I was hot on your heels, so I was almost there. Dude, that was...
If that was Ricky, we'd have had to just leave him. If that was Ricky, we would have had to just leave him. Just like you show a little mercy and you step on his head.
You went in way deep.
That was bad.
And
dude, literally, it's a shell. It's floating on the lake. The lake's right here.
Yeah.
I went through the shell, and you can feel there's just water underneath you.
Dude.
Every time I move, I just slip down through that mud a little more. That was bad.
Great. Hey, it's good you went on that diet.
I hope we don't find that on the way out.
No.
In spring, me, Rat Slayer, Eric, and Ricky came back here scouting. And I really like this point. It's got oaks on here, and the oaks are dropping. And it seemed like all the deer were coming into this point and then filtering up. Now coming back here, there's a lot of sign here. But there's a lot more back up there, and I'm kind of worried we might have went through the best stuff. But this ground's real hard, and it's hard to tell if the sign's here. My spring scouting tells me to be right here. My gut feeling tells me to be about 1/8 of a mile back. But the one thing that kept me going was that a lot of the sign we were finding in the beginning was fresh sign from this year, but it was dry. The acorns just started dropping. Did you hear that one? And I'm thinking they might be shifting to the acorns right now. And that's why they shifted away from where those rubs are. So hopefully some bucks show. Dave Greenhorn is right back here. At the other end of this island, there's a bunch of spidering trails that come in there. And he's going to sit there. I have a camera there that I left there from spring scouting. It's not a cell cam, just a regular one. I just left it there to see what's out here. We'll pick it up when we go home, and we'll check it when I get home. Dave and I saw about a total combined of about 8 deer, including one little buck. Wasn't real exciting, except for the amount of deer we saw. But on the way out, I grabbed the card out of the camera. And when I checked that card at home, man, was it full of deer. I mean, there was deer on there constantly, including a lot of bucks. But there's only a few that were of the age I'd like to hunt. And of those deer, most of them had, short tines. There was a couple, older, heavy 8-pointers that had short tines. But there's really only one buck that I really wanted to target. And all the bucks were on her multiple times, and I have a feeling that we're getting most of the deer in that area on that camera, because they're all going into those oaks over and over to feed. But the one buck was a 9-pointer. It was fairly wide, fairly heavy. It looked like a shooter buck, nice mature buck. And I decided to target that buck. I hunted the other side of the swamp last week on the opposite wind. Now I'm hunting over here. I got back here a little late. It's after work. I raced back here. I got to the tree at about 4:45. It's a long hike back through swamps to get here. And the sign here is ripped up pretty good. I was climbing my tree to set up, and a deer came in off the point. I didn't get to see it, but I heard it walking, and I kind of froze, and then I kind of tried to look over there, and it spooked and ran off into the swamps, snorting. Nothing I could do anyways. My bow was sitting on the ground. I hadn't even put the tree stand up yet. I'd have to think more are going to come though, and hopefully that wasn't a target. It sounded like it was one lone deer, so it's probably a buck, but hopefully it was a young one. We'll see. I originally set up a tree over there, or picked out a tree over there to hunt when they come off of this tip. But when I got out here coming in, there's a lot of acorns raining right here. This is only 50 yards from that tree. And I'm seeing a lot of trails, like right down there and stuff, and around me, coming in off of the swamp. So I don't think they're just coming in off of the tip. As I sit back just a little bit. I ended up seeing about 25 deer on that hunt. And right before dark, that whole island started filling up with deer. It got a little low light in the shadowed areas and it got hard to film them, but you could see some big animals. I couldn't quite make out the racks. One of them looked like it was a maybe shooter. I couldn't tell if it was the target animal. Probably not, but it might have been a different one, a new one, that was big enough to shoot. And I did see some pretty big-bodied animals going through that brush, but I couldn't get close enough. And I knew the sign was there. With that much activity, you gotta figure that big 9 is around. Owl Island is only a couple hundred yards from the island the camera was on. I decided to go back and give the area that me and Dave Schwabe tried another shot. Just get in there one more time. Because, you know, I got so many pictures of that 9 in there, and he didn't seem to have any concern over us setting the camera. He was in there right after we put that camera up with all 3 of us standing there. So I wanted to give it one more shot and just move over a little bit to where I thought he'd probably come through.
Yesterday, I sat on an island that's about a half mile that way. Came in from a different road. The wind was going that way. So the wind was in my face over there. I saw about 25 deer, including one nice buck who was borderline. I had a camera over here. That camera had a lot of bucks, a lot of deer in daylight over here too. So these acorns are raining down. They're dropping like crazy while setting up the stand. It sounded like it was raining. Now it's silent because I'm saying it. But I'm fairly certain there's a lot of deer coming in right here. So we're going to give this a sit and see what happens. I put myself in this corner here. I think the deer travel's going to come up into here and go back off into that way. So I got the wind is going like this right now, but it's supposed to switch to that. So I think I'm good. The swamp is all a mixture of cattails, tags, and small trees, muck and water. And this island is just a high mound of earth that comes up out of the water. And it's loaded with oak trees. And this is the biggest, flattest area. And it seems like all the deer funnel in here like that, into that inside corner, and in out of there. A lot of fresh sign, a lot of rubs. Just rubbed down here on a pretty good sized tree where they killed the tree.
All I saw was a bunch of does and a couple of small bucks in the distance, just glimpses. But still, no glimpse of the big 9.
I came back out to Owl Island. I was here 2 days ago, and I saw about 25 deer, and a lot of them followed the far edge, and there was a couple decent animals in there, and they had no idea I was over here on the downwind side, away from the trails. So I'm going to try and slip in a little bit deeper where I can hit where I saw those deer go through. And there was a lot of action, a lot of bucks. One of them looked like it might or might not be a shooter, but it was low light and hard to tell. There's a waist-high rub on a tree right in front of me here that wasn't here 2 days ago. Right there. So the main trail goes through the island like this. I'm staying off to the side here. And I got an east wind, which is perfect for this, which is why I'm giving it a hunt right away again. And there's starting to get to be a little pressure out here. So as the people are starting to come out deeper and deeper, I feel an urgency to get it done before the deer is pushed into the swamps and become real nocturnal. I'm about 10 yards past where I hunted last time. And there's a giant fresh scrape here. I mean, it's still September. The giant fresh scrape here. My tree is right back there. And this was freshened since I've been here last. Look at this, just ripped up. The branch is dead. And there's 2 new rubs right over there. When I sat over there, I could shoot all of this, but all the deer kept going through that thick cover, all the real big ones. So I want to get up here a little bit so I can shoot into there and still hit over in here, like somewhere right up in there. I just got to find an open spot. I'm trying to navigate where the deer don't navigate, but they definitely navigate right here. I made my way all the way to the tip of the island, and there's an oak tree right here that looks really good and open for shooting anything coming in off the tip. And then again, there's another giant scrape that's just been worked right behind it. I don't know what's going on, but these deer are worked up. So I'm gonna get up that oak tree as high as I can. I'm expecting some deer to come out over here. I got a little bit of a wind rolling over there. Nothing's ever perfect. And with the amount of deer coming in here, best I can do, but the higher I can get up there and still have a shot opportunity, the better. I'm gonna sneak over there and set up. Wish me luck. It seems like all the rut sign and stuff is where I hunted last time, which is about 40 yards that way. On the other side of this really thick stuff behind me. This is a pretty aggressive move because when we scouted this right here, right as far as you can see, I think I'm set narrow point, and it's just one little bedding mound after another in a line of willow trees that goes out about 100 yards. So those deer are really close. I also noticed that a lot of satellite deer were coming in from the sides, and I wouldn't doubt it if a mature buck comes in from the sides. But the stuff I was seeing that I think was bigger bucks was coming through this stuff over here. And I think it was coming through this opening and then going into the thick stuff.
I think pushing out to the tip of that island was a mistake. The wind was, the island goes like this, and the wind was kind of going like that, and I was assuming the deer were coming from this way. But when I got in there, all the deer that did come in came from the downwind area, across the island, and ended up where I was seeing all the deer. So I think my perception of how those deer were entering that island might have been off. And I did have some snorting from one deer downwind. And I went from 25 deer the one day to 5 that day, making me think those deer knew I was there. So I decided right there that if I hunted that island again, we were gonna back up and hunt that first tree where I saw the 25 deer from, especially if the wind was the same as what it's been. And we just kept getting these east, southeast winds that now I felt were not good for the tip of that island. On the next trip in, I took my son James, and we decided we were gonna go a little further back and hunt some mainland stuff that looked like it was remote enough that nobody was getting to, and it had some oak points going into that same swamp, but a lot further away from where the camera was. And we thought we'd just give that a shot. But when we got over there, I really didn't like the sign. It didn't look all that great. And we discussed it, and we discussed, you know, should we hunt over here? Should we keep going? And James said he would really like to give this spot where I saw 25 deer a try. And that would give me the opportunity to go to another island to the far side that's close by to there and give that a hunt. So it was back over to Owl Island and the island beside it, and we were going to go at it one more time.
I just left James, the rat slayer, off on the next island over on the tip. And I came down this island to the end. I have never been over here before. I want to check this out. I was in here briefly when we rescued the owl, but I never got a real good chance to look at it, and I saw a lot of hunter sign. But getting in here now, I know that those hunters aren't in here now. They're in here later in the year. And it's mostly small game sign, like shotgun shells and stuff. And there's a lot of deer sign in here, man. There's a really big rub right over there, and the trail goes right through here. And I get to here, and there's a massive scrape. Fresh tracks in it from this morning. The branch has been freshly broke. The leaves aren't even dead yet. I can see a really big rub up there, real high. I can see another scrape over there, and it looks like this valley is the connecting path. Now there's good sign of, you know, on a map, it looks like there's good bedding that way. But the sign ain't coming from that way, and the wind's blowing that way, so I'm gonna take my chances that it's crisscrossing here, and maybe get into one of these trees over here, and then I can shoot this whole little valley here, and hopefully they don't come from that way and blow on my scent. But look, there's another scrape over there on this side of the same tree. I'm hoping they're coming from that way. Good chance they are. That's the most remote area. So we'll see what happens. I'll set up and see what shows up. Could get interesting. I think I'll go in this tree right here. I get in that little green cover. I might even be able to shoot behind me a little bit. And then I'll put my wind out there. And I don't think anything's coming through that tangle. At least I hope not. But there's certainly a lot of deer coming through here. I mean, look at it, even kicked debris way back there. That's pretty fresh. Acorns raining around me. And I got kind of an iffy wind. It's kind of... But I'm in here and I'm hunting it. I'm on this end of the island that's got some steep ridges and stuff that go down into swamp grass and stuff that go up to cattails and tags and stuff. And I didn't know what to make of this in the map, that the bedding might be too far back. But man, is there a sign here. Way more than I expected. I mean, that's the first scrape we saw. We saw some rubs over there. There's a rub line with big high rubs. There's another big rub up there and a scrape over there. So there's a line of scrapes going through here. So I had originally pointed out that tree I was going to sit in for that movement coming through. But when I got to that tree, I looked over and there's a huge scrape behind it that appears to be coming from that way. So it's like there's two sets of bucks coming in here, meeting here. So I got back a little further so that I'm in front of all of them. You know, this acorn drop we got in these areas that are real swampy and just have like isolated oaks like this. I'm on an acorn island. There ain't no acorns anywhere out here but on these islands. All these deer are concentrating around these acorns. This hunt for a 2-week period every other year, if you ask me, is better than rut. You see more animals, more consistency. It's just a great time to be in the woods, and most people don't get that.
They concentrate on that rut movement, and that usually, you know, if you came out here in rut, this island's full of guys. They'll come out here. There'll be guys and climbers out here and stuff, and the deer will be pushed back into swamps, and you'll see deer, but you won't see as many deer as you see on these acorns. I mean, 2 days ago, on 1/8 of a mile that way, I saw 25 deer in one sit.
bunch of little fawns over here just hanging out. One came out from over here, and actually one little one came out right behind me for the longest time, sniffing the base of the tree, just hanging out, stomping their feet. I'm like, oh man, I'm done. And then they worked their way around over here, and they stayed here for the longest time. And all of a sudden, one of them was just staring over here, staring and staring. And I look over, and this buck came right out of the grass over here. Came walking out right in front of me. He kind of spooked here for a moment and started licking this branch over here, scraping the ground.
Right, that scrape that I pointed at when we got here?
Yep. And if you look over there, you can see my luminoc on the ground.
Yeah, yep.
And
Look like a good a shot?
oh yeah,
How big is the buck?
he had to be an 8. I was pretty shaken.
Okay, well, cool.
He's pretty wide.
Yeah, cool.
So.
Exciting. It is bizarre what is going on back here. It's like a rut. I mean, I had 6 scrapes by me. I counted 5 when I went up the tree. When I got down, I noticed another one right next to where I set up. All fresh. And big rubs all around too. I mean, just like it's rut.
Yeah.
And right when you called, I had deer coming from every direction, but all the ones I could see, I wouldn't shot any of them. So
Yeah.
I just got down, wanted to get over here and get after this thing. So did it look like a solid hit?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He hunched up, kicked his legs, and
Crashed off and sounded like he crashed?
oh yeah, I went and kind of peeked already. There's a lot of blood.
Oh, good,
So
good.
I think he's probably right over there.
What's the arrow?
Like 20 yards.
This is where it was laying?
You're right here. He was standing right here.
Oh, wow, and there's already blood. Ooh.
Look behind you.
Oh, wow. Oh, you must have punched him right through the heart or something. That's that G5 expandable?
That's the G5 expandable mag meat.
Mag meat?
Yeah.
Jeez, that's gonna leave a hole.
2-inch diameter.
A lot of hair on there. Wow. Well, that's definitely a dead deer. For sure. Look at that blood trail. And he's running, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's going right over the top of this stuff. Right through there. Here's the trail on these branches. Yeah, this is just, everything's covered with blood here.
We got this far. Oh, blood in
All these cattails are just covered.
here. There he is.
Oh, there he is. Woohoo! Well, that's a big body. I can't see a head yet. Oh, I see antlers sticking up. Whoa! See 5 on this side. Dude, I think that's the big 9. I got pictures of him. That's the one we were after. Sure enough, it's him.
Oh man.
That is the biggest buck out here. That's the biggest one we got on camera. Dude, you got the monster. That's the biggest one we got on camera out here. That is freaking awesome. Holy crap. Dude, the return of the rat slayer. Oh, I sat that stand yesterday, dude. I can't believe this.
I hope he's on film.
That is freaking awesome.
Oh man, he is big.
That's the big 9. That's the one we've been after. That's the one me and Eric have been coming out here chasing.
Really?
Yeah, you could have done it one day. Good job, man.
Ah, thanks.
I knew it as soon as I saw that 5 side sticking up. That was him.
This is the
Awesome.
only side I saw. I didn't even realize the other side.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of
That's
trail
why I
cam
said
pics of that buck, dude.
Oh man.
Well, congrats, man.
Thank you.
I think it was Dave's bow, man.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. I mean, how much have you hunted? Like 4 or 5 days now, and
All that.
you got the biggest buck we were after on the cameras. So
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a rush.
the luck of the rat is back.
All right.
I think Dave was with you, man.
Oh yeah. I like it.
It's gonna be a long night. Trying to navigate out of these cattails way over my head. I thought this would be a shortcut. Eating spiders. Look at the size of this thing. Thing's the size of a $50. Look at that. Almost got that thing in the face.